Greetings, everyone. Welcome to day four of the 2026 March Madness. In today's video, this is going to be lesson four. We are supposed to actually continue with the double story structure that we've been doing. We did the foundation, we did grid lines, we did foundation walls, we did the strip footing, and also some other stuff that we did in the previous video, in the previous day, day three. And ideally, I was supposed to continue, but there's some other project that I would actually like us to work on. This is actually going to be in line with some of the things that we did in lesson one and two. So here I have a DWG file that says floor plans, as you can see. So this one was shared to me through one of my architect friends. When you open it, you can see that. Okay, let's wait for it to open. It says this DWG file was saved by an application that was not developed or licensed by Autodesk. What do you want to do? This floor plan was actually it was exported from ArchiCAD, right? So ideally, there's a certain level of compatibility between DWG files, but if it was if the file in question was created by some it was created by software other than an Autodesk software. What usually happens is that you have one of these warning uh, signs. So because I know where it's coming from, I know the person that created it. I know what software they used to create it. I'll say continue open the DWG file, right? And then I'll just try to look around it just so I can have an idea of what's happening, right? Just try to study it. And then already I can see that these are actually like two wings. You've got this wing on the left and this other wing on the right. I can tell that because I can see that they're sharing this staircase, right? So by looking at it, we can see that could be two apartments because this one is being mirrored by this other one on the other end. So access is here for the left, access is here for the right, and then they can go into. It's quite an interesting drawing because when you just walk in, you can either walk into the bedrooms. Hmm, okay, and then what appears to be the kitchen is over here. This is probably like an opening without a door. So you enter it, and then you can go to the kitchen. It appears to be like a pantry, and you've got some down pipes there. I don't know whether or not the rainwater. Okay, rainwater. They've decided not to cover. This is a gully trap. This is GT meaning gully trap. And then over here is like the living area also. Another opening. And then we've got what appears to be like a master bedroom here. I can tell that because I can tell that it's a master bedroom because I can see that there's a balcony, the sliding doors being represented by those arrows, and what appears to be like a balustrade in here, or yeah. So this is actually a balcony. This is a balustrade in. Um, hold on. Okay, so people will be able to join in. Okay, so AB representing air bricks, a window, and as I was saying, this is a master bedroom. You enter, you can access the balcony area, and you can also access what appears to be a walk-in closet, and of course the bathroom here with like a sink, a wash hand basin, a tub, and a water closet, right? The same thing is being represented on the other side. This could be like a storeroom. Yeah, this could be like one of those communal toilets and bathrooms that are going to be used by these other bedrooms. Okay, so same thing being mirrored. I'm guessing if this is the ground floor, I'm guessing the ground floor and the first floor because this is the only drawing that my colleague shared. So I'm guessing the ground floor and the first floor have got a similar arrangement. We take it, they've got a similar arrangement. So ideally, what I like to do, I like to create layers. As you can see, some of these actually say ArchiCAD from the other software. So what I'll do is I'll create layers. Create a new layer. I'll call it um, I'll call it grid lines, structure, grids, and then okay. So let me just pause the video for a while. Appear some people would like to join in. Anyway, let's continue. They'll join us. So I'm trying to create some layers so that they can be distinguished and they can be imported in Porter. So these are structural grids. I named this one as structural grids. I'll double click it. Uh, okay. So as I was saying, I'll create a new layer for structural grids, and I've double clicked it in order to select it as the current layer. And then here I'll give it a distinctive color. I'll give it maybe yellow, right? So that we can be able to see it clearly. Okay, so what I'll do, so after having given it a color, the structure grid lines, we give it a yellow. I would actually like to create another layer, but this time for dimensions, because I would like to know the spans of these, the spans of, oh, I'd like to know the spans of these grid lines and where I'm actually going to be placing the columns, because I can see that it would fit well here. Here is too short. I'd have wanted it to fit here, but it cannot. So perhaps we can have one here, 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 and there. But then, of course, that will be determined by the span length. So actually, I'll create another layer, also 00, and I'll say structured beams for structured dimensions, and I'll give it a red color. Okay. In fact, let's make this one the active one. And then, if I go to the annotation tab here, I've got text and dimensions. So for the text that appears on the dimension, I'm going to make some modifications. For example, I'll create a new one, and I'll say dims text, meaning dimension text, and then I'll choose a font, something like Century Gothic, and I'll probably like it to be bold. I'll give it a height of about maybe 150, We'll see. Can always come back to it. Okay, and then apply, set as current, apply, close. So that's my Dean's text. So here I can go to, I was on text, I can go to dimensions and I'll click on this small arrow to pull it up. Okay, and then I can create a new one and I can say Dean's uh, layer. Okay, so I'll continue and then see it says Dean's layer there, the color by layer, and you'll see the layer that we're going to actually use. Line type will be by layer, line weight also by layer, color for the extensions will be by layer red, okay, and we won't suppress anything for now. Go to symbols, okay, the closed ones are okay, you can change them if you like some other arrowheads, but I'll maintain the closed ones. I would like for my arrow size to be 150, similar to the text. And then for the text style, I'll say Dean's text, the one that we just created. I would like the color to be by layer. Fill color will be none. Text height is already determined. Okay. Fit. Primary units, I'd like for them to be decimal, but I would like the precision to be 0. Right. Round off. No, no rounding off. Measurement scale 1. Alternate units. Tolerances. So this is good. I think this is good. So I'll say OK and I'll say close. So now if I were to select the dimension and I was to dimension it from there to make sure my author is on, my author mode, and there it tells me this is about 2150. So 2.15, which is not a bad uh, um, like span. So I'll say continue, and now I can continue from there to here, to there, to there, to there, to there. Okay, and so on and so forth. If you do not like the way the red colors are appearing here, you can suppress like that. Okay, and you can see that this is actually a mirror because it starts off with 2150 here, ends with 2150. There's 3150 here. There's 3150. There's 31 here. There's 31 here. They've got 34. So this one should be 34 also. Should be, maybe we didn't pick the points properly. Oh, still says 33950, but it should be actually 34. And then you've got 24 here, 24, 200. Okay, and then overall, the overall dimension is from grid line number 1 up to grid line number 16. So this is about 28, almost 30. Might be necessary to have like an expansion joint here to separate the two buildings. Also, I do not know how. Here it appears as if there's a certain level of balustrading, like there's a balcony and also a balcony, but I do not know about this area. I don't know whether this area has got concrete or not. So we'll probably need to request for more information from the architect. So, and all of them are DDD. I wonder why. Okay, so from there, we pick a point from there, another there, and then we'll continue. We'll press on continue, and then we want it to be there and there and there and there and there and there. Okay, it says 408 2992. Wonder why these dimensions are like this. And then the overall dimension will be from here to here. It's about 11. Okay, not bad. Okay, after having dimensioned it like this, what I'm going to do now is I'll decide where I would like my columns since we're designing. So I'll change the layer now. I'll go to my structure grids. I'll say I'll pick a line, and then I'll hold down shift, right click, and say mid between 2 points. So I'd like for my grid line to be in the middle of that and that, and as you can see it's right here. I'll place it right below the architect bubbles like that, and then I'll draw a small circle and I'll put it over there. I'll trim like that, and I'll get this circle. I'll copy it. When you hover over the circumference, it gives you the center, and then you can place it over there. Okay, and then you can trim like that. Okay, so from here to here, so the main ones I know for a fact I'll need columns here. So I'll select this. In fact, I'll select this and this, and I'll copy it and place it on grid line number 5. I know for a fact I'll need, so I'll copy, go over there and place it. This is number 5, place it there. Okay, another area I know I'll need is probably here. This is actually where we can separate the building and there by means of using an expansion joint. Okay, so this is the mirror effect. Let's see if we were to mirror, it might probably be misaligned. So I actually want mirror. I'll just select that and this. Okay, and then I'll copy this point to this intersection and this one. Okay, so here now the debate is where do we place, because from here to here this is a very long span. If we were to dimension it from here to here, we have 8,400. That's a very long span. The most that you want for these spans to go is probably like 4 meters. Okay, so we are trying to hide the structural walls in the masonry. We're trying to hide the structural columns in the masonry walls. So this one would make a very good, yeah, actually this one would make a very good, this will make a very good grid line. But yet again, here, meaning we cannot have a column here because it will be in the way of this window number 8. So what we can do, I'll select this and I'll select this also, and then I'll pick it from I'll copy and pick it from here and then place it over here. Okay, and then also copy it and place it over here like that. Okay, this is a very interesting floor plan because we cannot place the columns in the middle of the kitchen here, and these spans, next point is over there. Hmm. Let's try to measure from here to here. How much is that? This is like 6 meters because this would make a very good from there to there. Hmm. Okay, okay. Select this and this. Next contender is pick this line, place it over here, and also place it over here. These are like possibilities, and also this one. Okay, okay. Oh, we'll need some for the stairs also. So place one over here and another one here, another one here. Okay, cool. But then don't forget we need some for our staircase. So pick that also, pick that, copy, copy it from here, place it over there, place it over here also. Okay, and then you can name them. I'll add text, name it as 01, similar to the naming convention that is being used by the architect. So place it over there, 1, okay, and then I'll copy and paste there, 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 uh-huh, and so on and so forth. I don't need this dimension line, I just used it. So here I call this 02, this is 03, this is 04, this is 05, this is 06, 07, 08, 09. You can move them a little. Just move it over there and move this one over there. This one will be number 10. Uh-oh. This will be number 11, 12, number 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. Select the line again. Hold down Shift, right click, choose mid between 2 points, and I want the middle of that, and that. So my mid is different from the architect's mid. Let's see. It's claiming these are 200. Okay. What about from here to here? 92. And from here to here, 108. Hmm. And mine from there to there, it's 100. Okay. Put it over there. Put it over here. I'll select this bubble. Oh, I need it to be in the middle. Sorry. Select it. Take the center. Paste it over here. Okay. I'll trim. Go in and delete this. I'm guessing this should be like A, because all of them just say D. Okay. So I'll copy this. Make sure my author is on, and I'll paste it somewhere there. Okay. Go in and trim, and I'll Control S to save. Okay. So the next point that we can make, the most likely point that we can have grid columns on is this one here. Okay. But I'm no longer so confident in the architect points, So what I'll do is I'll just have to pick the middle again. Anyway, we can use them. But the guys that will be setting out will probably have problems. So there, put it over there, and also put it over here. Okay, selected the correct line. There and there. So I'm going to paste it here. For that, I'll copy it from here, then paste it here, like that. Okay. This is probably going to be an overhang or a cantilever, and measuring from there to there is about 1,200. Would have been nice to have them here. I don't know why you didn't put them in the same line. Okay. So for my column placement, just delete this. I don't think it's delete that and delete that. Control S. So for my column placement, I'll go there. In fact, before I do that, I'll just add some text, and I'll say column orientation, and I'll underline this. Okay. As you can see, it's very small, so I just highlight it, and on my properties it says excuse me, the height. I'm looking for the text height. Text height says 150. You can actually make it like 500. Okay, just so it can stand out like that. And then I'll show that. Oh, so here I'll create another layer for structure columns. Be sure to include the zero so that it can be at the top. Then I'll select it. I'll give it a different color. Maybe give it a green. Okay. And then there are two ways in which I can orient my columns. One way is having the long side like this. For example, this is 400. I tab and this is 200, like that. That is one way. Let me just move it there. Another way, when I create the rectangle tool, by actually starting by 200 by 400, and I enter. Right, so this is another way in which I can have my columns. And then I would like to have, like, create a hatch. I think there's a concrete, this one is a concrete hatch. I'll put it in there, enter, and then I'll change. This is too much, maybe, let's say maybe 10, right? That's a better hatch pattern. You can see that this is concrete. So I'll create another hatch pattern similar. What I'll do is I'll just use the match properties. I'll select this and I'll paste it in here. And as you can see, I have the 400 by, I've got these columns. One is a 200 by 400, one is a 400 by 200. And then what I can do, what I like to do, is I like to create pick points. So when I select the line tool, I'll shift and say meet between 2 points, and make sure your author is on, like that. You repeat the line command, meet between 2 points there and there, like that, like that. So by doing this, I can pick this column from here, from here, from the mid, from here, from there, from there, from there, from there, as opposed to just being limited to the corners, the four corners. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 corners I can pick it from. So I'll repeat the line command, select between 2 points, and I'll do that. I'll repeat the line command once more. Hold down shift, select there and there. Sorry, I did Control Z because it didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. So like that. Now it has come out the way I'd like for it to come out. Okay. So for example, here, since this is the longer direction, I'd actually like to use the longer column, this one. And then I'll copy it, I'll pick it from this corner, and then I'll deselect the author mode so that I can have these options, and I'll place it over here. Okay. I'll do the same. I'll select it and I'll move it and I'll pick it from here and then I'll put it over there. Okay. Next point, I would like to have another column here, right? As we decide. So I'll select this, I'll copy from the midpoint there, and then I'm going to paste it where did we conclude here, like that. Okay, okay, and then I can have two here also. Okay, we go there, we select, copy, I'll put one there and another one there. Of course, here they'll require some form, meaning this building structure will be separate from the other one. Okay. I wonder what the distance from 5 to 8 is, and whether or not it will be necessary to have. Actually, it will. Hmm. Okay. Another point I would like to have my column is actually, see, here. So I'll select the corner over here and I'll place it there. I'll do the same for this point. I'll place it over there and then move it like that. Okay. So it would be nice to place a column over here, but already I can see that my beam system will not allow. This room is too huge. So maybe I'd have to increase it. Let's see. If I were to place one here, copy and then put it here, meaning I'll need the other one there. Okay, I'll enter and then I'll get this one, copy, and then I'll put it over here like that. That's pretty cool. Now let's find out the span. What is the span? From here to here, it's about 5. I think that's reasonable, but my reasonableness, well, reason is not entirely up to me. So what we can do, we'll let the software actually. I don't know whether or not if it's got a desire for this section to be cantilevered. I don't know. There. Can't place it here, but we can place it. Can place one here. Hmm. I wonder why I couldn't move this somewhere there. Is it possible? I think it is. Yeah. So as a matter of fact, we can propose to the architect. There, have it there. Have him move this, make the room big to align with this. Okay. So I'll copy this and I'll put it over here like that. And I'll also put the other one over here. Okay. But then what I'll do is I'll select this and the hatch pattern and I'll copy it from here, but then I'll enable my ortho so that it can intersect like that. Okay. So this is actually how my grid is going to be. But of course it's going to be centric. So what I'll do is I'll select that, including the bubble and the letter A, and then I'll move it. I'll copy it from there to there, like that. Okay, so that all of these can sit here. I'll also copy this, make sure my author is on, and I'll place it over there. Okay, meaning certain changes will need to be made. Yeah, okay, meaning I can also have a column over here like that to support the staircase. I don't know how to built it. I'll pick that side, make sure my author is on, and I'll paste it in the stairs like that. And like that. Okay, okay, cool. Hmm. I can actually copy these two. I'll copy them and paste them over here or by the corner there. So I'll copy from there and I'll paste there. Okay, meaning this and this can be supported. Yeah, makes a very good grid system as a matter of fact. So each one of them will have one, two, three, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's not an overkill. 13 columns for each block. Okay. So now let's try to mirror. we'll use this line as a mirror axis. Okay. Actually, what I'll do is I'll delete this and delete this also. Okay, so that this will be mirrored. We'll go there. This I'll avoid, but this will be mirrored, and this will be mirrored also. This one will remain because it's already there. Okay. Anyway, let's see how it turns out. This is this one, so I won't copy it. It's already there. This will be mirrored. This will be mirrored, and this will be mirrored. This will be mirrored. This will be mirrored. This will be mirrored, and this will be mirrored. Okay, so I'll select mirror, the mirror tool, and I'll choose this up to this and say no. So now let's see, let's make sure. Okay, this one is in line, 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 this one and this one are in line. Okay, that, okay. This one is in line, this one is in line, this one is in line. Yeah, cool, cool. This is very good. So I can create some text. So let's see. So this will be my A, this one will be my B, and this one will be my C. I will not need this one, and therefore I'll delete it. I'll go ahead and delete these also, because I'm just going to copy them like that, from there to there to there, and I'll pick copy here, and then I'll paste them right there. A, B, C. Cool. I'll do the same for these. Select them like that, 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 that, like that, like that, like that, like that. And then I'll copy from there to here. Okay. So now I've got the grid line, the proposed structure layout. Of course, there's a little bit of interference there. We're going to try to see if we can ask the architect to move some of these words like that. Let's see. Anyway, so I'm going to copy this and then I'll put it over here like that, and I'll say this is the proposed column placement layout plan, structure plan. let's have an input. Let's have the architect input before we begin to do our thing, like that. And then here I'll try to use like a revision cloud just to show them that these columns are not in the wall. So I can say notes. I'll copy. In fact, what I can do is I can create maybe on the red, and I can say text. I'll say notes or underline. Maybe make it similar. This one is 500. I can bump this to 500 also, right? Okay, and I can try to center it. Auto mode, probably no. My center will probably be somewhere here. Maybe no. Maybe that's the center. And then I'll start. Number one, I'll say 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So four number, and I'll say 4 structure columns are not hidden in masonry walls on grid lines. This is C5, C5, comma, C7, but C05, C07, C10, and C12. And I'll say advise if the walls can be moved, if the architectural walls can be moved to conceal structural columns. Okay. Number two, advise if ground floor is exactly or similar to first floor plan. Full stop. Number three, advise accessibility are the two apartments sharing the same staircase. Okay. So already I know this text height is, I'll try to make it 500 or so. Yeah, this is good. Okay. So what I can actually do, I can select this, say select similar, and this too, select similar. Okay, so now I can copy and move them like this. Now this can go, and this is the structure grid. Structure can view without architectural walls. Okay, now we can save and we can send this back to our architect for review. Another thing I can do is I can place these on a sheet. I can either place them on a sheet or I can just like print, for example. Um, I want it to be high quality, and then I want it to be on an A3, maybe ISO A3, like that. And then I want to select the window, so from there to there, and then I would like for it to be centered. Then I can preview like that. Okay, I can print. I'll take it to project. I'll say PDF. This is a proposed column placement layout. Just copy this. Yeah, as you can see, that's the way that it comes out. Probably should have selected a different color, but it's okay. And then I can print again. I should have saved high quality ISO A3, like that. Center, then this time window, and then I'll choose like that. But apply to layout, remember, and you can preview. So that's how it's going to be. Okay, and then you can print. Give it a name. This is going to be number 2, but this one is without architectural walls, like that. And then you save. Okay, I'll close this so that I can save it. It's on my desktop, as you can see. I'll rename it and say propose column placement layout, and then I'll copy it, but then I'll take it to my project folder. I'm due. This is a DWG, and I'll paste it, but I'll also share it, right? But before I do that, I'll share it. But before I do that, I would like to combine, just refresh, upload, desktop, okay. It's in structures, PDFs, and then I'll combine them to have one file so that I can share them. Combine, I'll rename it as proposed column document layout one. Okay, I'll cut, I'll take it in here, oh, here, and it is going to be in number 3, PDFs. Okay, so this is it. We're going to wait for the architect to give us a go ahead to either tell us whether our proposal is good or not before we can actually run the analysis. So we'll prepare general arrangement drawings in Revit. We'll import these files and we'll put them in Revit. And then we'll also, what else are we going to do? Oh yeah, we're going to uh, also import in Proton so that we can start adding all those loads and all that good stuff. So this has been day number 4. Hope you actually review the video. Send me messages. You can send me messages on my WhatsApp or through my email if you got any queries regarding today's lesson. Thank you.